ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last time we discussed the wonderful pastime of the deliverance of Putana and the deliverance of Shaktasur and Trinavarta, and how Krishna he showed Brahmahanda in his mouth to Mother Yashoda. And the last chapter ended with the question of Parikshit Maharaj that how did Nandah किम अकरोत् ब्रह्मन् श्रेय एव महोदयं यशोदा च महाभागा पपौ यस्य स्तनं हरे. What pious activities did Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda perform that they are getting a chance to feed Krishna and to take care of Krishna, to witness all these wonderful pastimes? In response to that, Shukdev Goswami describes that Drona and Dhara, they performed some tapasya and they pleased Lord Brahma, and Brahma gave benediction that you go and take birth, appear on earth and help in the pastimes of Krishna. So Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard this explanation, he did not like it so much. He did not accept it. So therefore in the 9th chapter, which is very, very famous chapter, very famous pastime of Damodar Leela, the Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna. So Parikshit, although he asked a question about Dhara and Drona, and the story of Dhara and Drona did not reveal any extraordinary tapasya and sadhana. So hearing that, Parikshit was not so happy, not so pleased. So then Shukdev Goswami, now he is giving the actual real answer to Parikshit Maharaj's question by narrating a story which describes the supreme devotion of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, and primarily Mother Yashoda. So Shukdev Goswami continues. Ekada grihadashishu Yashoda Nanda Gehini Karmantaran Yuktasu Nirmamantha Swayam Dadhi Yani Yani hi Gitani Tadbala Charitani Cha Dadhi Nirmamantha Kale Smaranti Tani Agayata. So very beautiful description now Shukdev Goswami is giving. Now Krishna has grown up little, and then one day Yashoda, and actually Acharyas they say that this was the day of Deepavali. Chakravarti Thakur writes that. Deepa Malika, Deepa Malika means the row of deep. So it was a day of Deepavali, and on that day Mother Yashoda, she thought something. Generally Nanda Maharaj, he had 9 lakh cows, and Mother Yashoda, she would choose 7, 8 very, uh, prominent cows, very peculiar, very noteworthy cows, who would be fed with Padma Gandha grass, very fragrant grass, very nourishing grass. And these cows, they would give milk which would be fragrant. You know. And then Mother Yashoda, she would very carefully, make curd and buttermilk for Krishna. And every day, because Mother Yashoda, she had many assistants, many maid servants helping her. So many times they would also do that. This day, Mother Yashoda, she thought, Krishna, he keeps stealing butter. As we discussed in the last chapter also, that Krishna stealing pastimes, how he steals butter from from the homes of the gopis. So she was thinking, I will personally churn butter today for Krishna. So ekada grihadasishu yashodananda gehini. So all the servants, she told, you go and do other duties, all the other maid servants. Karmantara niyuktasu nirmamantha swayam dadhi. And she personally took the responsibility of churning the yogurt or churning the butter. And then as she's churning the yogurt, what she's doing? Yani yani hi gitani tadbala charitani cha. While churning, she is remembering the pastimes and the activities of Lord Krishna. So what she would do, she would poetically make, she would compile poems of all the various pastimes of Krishna. And that's how, as she would be doing her daily duty, she would be singing all those pastimes because she wanted to always, remember Krishna. Dadhi nirmamantha kale smaranti tani agayata. So therefore, now she was churning butter and she was chanting, she was singing all those pastimes. So Prabhupada writes that it appears that Yashoda did not want to forget Krishna's activities for a moment. And therefore, what she would do? She would poeticize all the pastimes of Krishna, and that's how she would keep singing them whole day. And then Prabhupada writes, this should be the practice of persons who are eager to remain Krishna conscious 24 hours a day. Somehow or other we have to remember Krishna. Yena kena prakarena manah Krishne niveshayet. Somehow or other we have to remember Krishna always. And the very wonderful way is to sing the wonderful qualities of Krishna. That's what Mother Yashoda, she would be doing. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that in this verse, the ideal nature of affection, motherly affection, is described. The qualities, the form, the affection of mother is described in this verse. And this is important for those people who want to follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda. That is the Raganuga Bhakti. So Yashodama is Ragatmika Bhakta. She is a Nitya Siddha. And those who want to follow in the footsteps of Yashoda Mai, they should do all these things. Prabhupada clarifies, that does not mean one can become Mother Yashoda. Nobody can become Mother Yashoda. That will be a Mayavad. We can follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda. We can help her, assist her in her service to Krishna. And then Shukadeva Goswami describes the beauty of Mother Yashoda, what she was wearing, what all things a Raganuga Bhakta should contemplate on. So Mother Yashoda, she was wearing a saffron yellow sari. She had a belt on her hips, and as she was churning the rod, as she was churning the butter, the rope, she was, moving the rope, and her bangles were moving, her earrings were moving, her whole body was vibrating as she was churning butter. And as she was churning butter, because of the intense love for Krishna, milk was flowing spontaneously from her breasts. Her breasts were wet. And, her face, the face had very beautiful eyebrows. And because she was working so very hard, there were beads of perspiration on her forehead. On her hair, she had malti flowers, and because of the movements, the malti flowers were also falling. So this is the beginning of Damodar Leela. So Chakravarti Thakur writes in the end of this chapter that actually in this Damodar Leela, Krishna, he relinquishes many of his characteristics. He relinquishes 7 or 8 characteristics. Lord is Atma Ram. He is self-satisfied. Whatever he needs, he gets it. Atma Ram. Although he is Atma Ram, he does not need anything external. But in this pastime, he becomes Stanyakam. He wants to drink the milk. Lord is Purna Manorath. Purna Manorath means whatever he desires, he gets it. He does not have to endeavor. But in this pastime, Lord is Atripta. Atripta means he is not satisfied. Even after getting milk, he was not satisfied. Supreme Lord is Vishuddha Sattva Vigraha, embodiment of pure goodness. In this pastime, he becomes angry. He exhibits anger, which is a symptom of mode of passion. Krishna is such a personality from whom even fear personified fears. Yad bibheti swayam bhayam. In this pastime, Krishna becomes fearful of Mother Yashoda's stick. That is how he's relinquishing so many of his qualities. Yogis, they are trying to catch Krishna through their mind. Panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragamyo vayo rathapi manaso munipungavana, as Brahmaji says. Yogis, they are trying to catch Krishna with the speed of their mind. They are running. Still, they are not able to catch. And Yashoda, seemingly very simple lady, she caught Krishna. Krishna's body is Satchidananda Rupa, the embodiment of bliss. In this pastime, he is crying, Rudantam Muhuranetram Yugmam Rejantam. He is crying. Krishna is Mukta. In this pastime, he gets bound, he is Baddha. So as Mother Yashoda, she is engaged in, absorbed in churning butter, chanting the glories of Krishna. Wherever Krishna's glories are chanted, Krishna is attracted. Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti madbhakta tatra tishtami Narada. Krishna is telling, O Narad, I do not reside in Vaikuntha. I do not reside in the hearts of the yogis. Where do I reside then? Wherever my devotees chant my names, I reside there. I come there. We know in this pastime of Lord Jagannath, Rohini was telling the pastimes of Krishna to all the queens, and Subhadra Maya was guarding the door. Krishna, he was in the Sudharma assembly. He understood that my glories are sung. They are being sung somewhere. They came running, attracted to his glories. Krishna and Balram both. So therefore, because Mother Yashoda, she was chanting, singing the glories of Krishna, Krishna got up. And as a small child, after getting up from sleep, any child is hungry, starts crying. So Krishna comes to this place. Tam stanya kamam asadya mathanantim jananim harim grihitva dadi manthanam nyashedhat pritimavahan. So now, Krishna reached the place where Mother Yashoda is churning butter. Stanyakam, he wanted to drink the milk from Yashoda Mai's breast. Mathanantim Janani, and Mother Yashoda was engaged in churning the butter. So what he did? Grihitva Dadhi Manthanam. He did not tell Mother Yashoda, he did not just go in front. No, he went and directly caught hold of the churning rod, Nyashedhar, and he told, "Oh, mother, please don't churn, I am hungry. Feed me." Preeti Mahavahan. Why he did that? In order to increase the transcendental pleasure of Krishna, of Mother Yashoda. And that's the best way, to attract Krishna. When you chant the names of Krishna, when you do kirtan, Krishna is attracted. And Yashoda Mai, when she saw how Krishna came and caught hold of the churning rod, she was very happy. She said, "Oh, just see how intelligent this child is. He knows how to stop this churning completely." Otherwise, Mother Yashoda could have continued churning and she could have said, "Okay, I am coming, I'll feed you, don't worry, just wait for 2 minutes." No. He went and directly caught hold of the churning rod. So Mother Yashoda, what she did, she gave up churning, embraced Krishna first, made him sit on her lap. She looked at the beautiful smiling face of Krishna, with great love, affection. And as she was looking at the beauty of Krishna's face, milk was automatically flowing out of the breast, out of love and affection. So Jiva Goswami says that actually when Mother Yashoda, she saw that, okay, now Krishna is drinking milk and Mother Yashoda is looking at beautiful face of Krishna, she realized that milk which was kept in the pan in the kitchen, it was boiling over. Immediately she kept Krishna down and ran to take care of the overflowing milk. And Krishna, he was atripta. This is one more quality which he relinquished. Purna Manorath atripta. Krishna was not satisfied yet. And therefore, he was not happy. Jiva Goswami says that, okay, Mother Yashoda could have just gone with Krishna, right? While holding Krishna, feeding him, she could have gone. Why she had to keep Krishna down? Actually, Mother Yashoda was going very quickly because she wanted to save the milk. With Krishna, she could not go quickly. And this milk, somebody may say, why Mother Yashoda is giving up Krishna, putting Krishna down and taking care of the milk? Actually, this milk was very special and it was meant for Krishna only. So Prabhupada writes a very wonderful purport here. He says, sometimes one must take care of more than one important item for the same purpose. Feeding Krishna was for the pleasure of Krishna, and taking care of the milk was also for the pleasure of Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada writes, Mother Yashoda was not unjust when she put Krishna down and went to take care of the milk. And then he says, actually, on the platform of love and affection, it is a duty of a devotee to take care of one thing first and other thing later. How to understand which thing to do first, which thing to do later? Krishna will give the intelligence. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Prabhupada writes there. Proper intuition is given by the grace of the Lord. So if we are genuine, if we are really sincere in our devotional service, Krishna for sure will give us intelligence. How to do things properly. Which thing to do first, which thing to do later. Then Krishna, he was not so happy. He was actually angry. And in anger, he was, small children, when they are angry, they start crying. So Krishna started crying with false tears, Mothers, they know, false tears. They understand, oh, now he is actually crying and now he is just faking. So Krishna, he was crying. He was very angry, biting his lips with his teeth, with false tears in his eyes. What he did? He went to a room where the yogurt and butter from the previous day was kept. Took a piece of stone, and actually there was a container there, kept there only. So he took a piece of stone and he broke that pot. And then he entered another room, and there also the butter from the previous day was kept. He started eating that butter. So Vishuddha Sattva Vigraha, he is exhibiting mode of passion, he's angry. So Prabhupada writes there, it is natural for a child to get angry, and he can begin crying with false tears in his eyes. Now, by that time, Mother Yashoda, she took care of the milk which was boiling over. She came back, and when she came back, she saw the pot was broken and Krishna was not there. She understood. Chakravarti Thakur writes something interesting, very beautifully writes that Mother Yashoda, when she saw this work of her son, she put her finger on her nose and she was smiling, like just like we do when we think. So Mother Yashoda, so that's how all these acharyas, they are there in the past time, they are seeing all these things happening. So Mother Yashoda, she saw the broken pot and she understood that this is the work of her son. How did she understand? Because we have heard last time that the gopis, they would come and they would tell how skillfully your son breaks the pots. So Mother Yashoda could understand that my son, he knows how to make holes in the pot very skillfully. And one more thing she noted, she understood that my child is very intelligent. You know how? Why? Because Krishna, he had hit the pot on the lower side. Because when you hit a vessel which is full on the lower side, it does not make much sound. So Krishna knew how to break the pot without making much sound. So therefore, Mother Yashoda, she laughed, because seeing the fickle nature of her son and how expert he was in breaking the pots, and how he ran away in fear, and then Mother Yashoda could hear. She could hear the sound which was there coming from other room. Sound of the moving pots and the sound of the ankle bell of Krishna. It was all coming. So Mother Yashoda, she could hear all that. And then as Krishna, he broke the pot and all the butter, it was there on the ground, and through that butter he ran. So there were footprints on the ground, and from the footprints she could understand, oh, Krishna has gone to other room. And then she was hearing the sound of the ankle bells, and then there were some noises coming from the other room. So from all this, Mother Yashoda could understand that Krishna has gone there. So she started smiling. So actually, she immediately she understood that now Krishna has gone to another room, and she decided to go there. By that time, Krishna understood that now my mother is coming. So he left that room and he went into the courtyard through the back door. And what he did there he sat on a wooden grinding mortar. It was turned upside down, and he started feeding butter to the monkeys. He was distributing the butter and the yogurt to the monkeys. And because he has stolen things, he was fearful. So constantly he was looking around in anxiety to see if mother is coming, because if she comes and she catches me, I'll be chastised. He's constantly looking around. And Mother Yashoda, she very cautiously, silently, she was coming to that place. She approached him from behind. And she, initially she was craning her neck, just, poking her neck inside, face inside, and she was seeing what is happening in the room. And then she saw, oh, Krishna has gone away. So she approached Krishna from back and started, following him, started running behind him. At first, she did not make much noise. Very silently, she went behind Krishna, trying to catch him with her hands. When Krishna, he saw, actually, acharyas say that, as Krishna was feeding the monkeys, he saw Yashoda the face of Yashoda in eyes of the monkey. And he understood, oh, Mother Yashoda has come. And she was coming with a stick. She did not intend to beat Krishna, but she just got a stick just to threaten Krishna. Immediately Krishna got down from the wooden grinding mortar and then he began to flee as if he was afraid. Krishna, who is from whom fear personified fears. Madbhayad vati vatoyam suryastapati madbhayat varshatindro dhatyagni mrityascharati madbhayat. Madbhayad vati vatoyam. Kapila Devi is telling to Mother Devahuti, because of the fear of me, Supreme Lord, air is blowing, sun is rising, even death is doing its work out of fear of me. That Supreme Personality is fearful of Mother Yashoda, as if fearful, Shukdev Goswami says, as if fearful. Actually, he was not fearful. He was showing as if he was fearful. So, that Supreme Lord Krishna, who cannot be caught by the great yogis, he is running and Mother Yashoda wants to catch him. This scene, this pastime, actually was seen by Kunti Maharani also. Kunti Maharani was there at this time, it is described in the scriptures. That's why Kunti Maharani, when she offers her prayers to Krishna in the first canto, she remembers this pastime. Gopya dade tvai krita gasidam tavat yate dashashruka sambramaksham vaktram niniya bhava bhavanaya sitasya samam vimohayati bhirapi yad bibheti. Kunti Maharani is getting astonished that this personality from whom fear personified fears, he is running away out of fear of Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is carrying a stick and this Supreme Lord is running out of fear of Mother Yashoda. Now, this is so very astonishing, So that is what Kunti Maharani is remembering. And the famous Damodarashtakam prayers also describes Yashoda bhiyo lukha ladhavamanam paramrishtamatyam tato drutya gopya. Out of fear of Mother Yashoda, Krishna, he was sitting on the wooden grinding mortar. He got down, started running. And Chakravarti Thakur writes that he was not fearful internally, but he was showing that he is fearful. Why he was showing? Just to increase the affection of Mother Yashoda. Jiva Goswami says that actually he saw very vividly when he turned around, he saw Mother Yashoda is carrying a stick. This was most astonishing thing for Krishna, because till now he had never seen his mother so angry. He had never seen this before. Mother Yashoda carrying a stick. So therefore, he started running very fast out of fear. And initially he thought, if I'll go out in public, she will not come behind me. Public may, she will not come and chase me. So he went to the main gate. But that day, there was nobody at the main gate. It was all empty, that place. So Yashoda, she ran behind him to catch him. And therefore, Mother Yashoda, she's running as far as she can. Shukdev Goswami says that because Mother Yashoda, she had very heavy breasts, therefore she could not run fast. She was trying her best to run after Krishna, but she had to reduce her speed. And Krishna, he ran very swiftly. And as Mother Yashoda is running, her hairs, they are getting disarrayed. The Mallika flowers which are there on her hair, they are falling. One of the acharyas, he gives another understanding. Because in spiritual world, everything is chinmay, everything is conscious. The flowers on the hair of Mother Yashoda, they get divided into two groups. One is on the side of Krishna, other is on the side of Mother Yashoda. So those who are on the side of Mother Yashoda, they are appreciating, yes, Mother Yashoda should catch Krishna. And others, they are thinking, oh, this is not good. How is that Mother Yashoda is running to catch Krishna? We cannot see this. So they jumped off the hair of Mother Yashoda. So hairs were falling and she was trying her best. But still, she did not, you know, catch Krishna so far. But still, she didn't give up. She continued. And Prabhupada writes, who is Mother Yashoda? She's a apparently ordinary lady and she is trying to catch Krishna, who cannot be caught by great yogis. Then Krishna, he became more and more fearful. And as he was crying, he was rubbing his eyes. Mother Yashoda would put black ointment, kajal, and as he's crying, the kajal, the black ointment is, getting washed off, and Krishna, he's crying. Ultimately, Mother Yashoda, she mildly, she ultimately caught Krishna. So Shukdev Goswami goes little ahead and then he comes back what happened previously. He says, Mother Yashoda caught Krishna. She started chastising Krishna. And as Krishna is getting chastised, he is rubbing his eyes, wiping off tears, because he's thinking, so far, whenever I have cried, Mother Yashoda would wipe my tears. Or aaj to gadbad ho raha hai. Something opposite is happening today. Not only she is scolding me, she's having a stick in her hand. So this is completely unnatural. So okay, मैं अपने आंसू पोंछ लेता हूँ. He's using his hands and he's rubbing his eyes. And on top of that, Mother Yashoda is chastising him. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that with a stick, Mother Yashoda tried to instill fear in him. Who? Who instills fear in time and death personified? Mother Yashoda is trying to instill fear in that personality. This shows the exalted position of Mother Yashoda. And Prabhupada also writes, even the most powerful Yamraj fears Krishna. What to speak of Krishna? He tells, Baba, don't go to the devotees of Krishna. We heard in the 6th canto, Ajamil pastime. Yamraj is telling to Yamdutas, Baba, don't go near devotees. बहुत पिटाई हो जाएगी, आज बच गए, next time you will not be saved. ते देव सिद्ध परिगीत पवित्र गाता ये साधवो समदृशो भगवत प्रपन्ना तान्नोपसीदत हरे गदयाभिगुप्ता तेष नैषाम वयम न च वय प्रभवाम दंडे. These devotees, they are glorified by great saintly beings. They are sadhus, they are samadrisha, they are equipoised. Bhagavat prapanna, they are surrendered to Krishna. Therefore, please do not go near them because Krishna is personally standing with his club in his hand. So if Yamraj fears the devotees of Krishna, and what is Mother Yashoda trying to do? She is trying to instill fear in Krishna with a small stick. That is a wonderful dealing which is going on. Rudantam muhuranetram yugmam rijantam karambhoja yugamena satanka netram. So atank, there is a bhaya and there is a atank. When a student goes to a class for an exam, so far he doesn't get the paper, he has bhai, kya aayega, and when he gets the paper, atank, pata nahi abhi to kuch nahi ho sakta, nothing can be done, So Krishna is in complete atank. So therefore, she began scolding Krishna. Chakravarti Thakur writes, she is telling, you are such a restless person. You are friend of monkeys. You are pot breaker. Why did you do this? Today I will bind you and you will not be able to go anywhere. And she says, today you will not be able to go to your friends and play with them. And then Mother Yashoda, she's trying to bind Krishna. As Krishna is, you know, after he's caught by Mother Yashoda, he's breathing very fast. Muhushwas kampatri rekhank kantha. Muhushwas, he's breathing so very fast because of intense emotion. He's breathing very fast. And his whole body is shaking because of this, you know. And on his neck, he had 3 lines like conch shell. And Krishna is somehow trying to, invoke feelings of affection in Mother Yashoda. But he is not able to do so. He says, please don't beat me. Yashoda Mai says, if you don't like to get beaten, then why did you break the pot? I will not do this again. Please don't beat me. Please throw that stick down. Mother Yashoda, she was already always overwhelmed by the love for Krishna. When she saw that actually, oh, Krishna is becoming more and more fearful, she began to worry. She thought, if this boy becomes more disturbed, more fearful, he may run away, enter the forest. She did not even understand who is Krishna. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Mother Yashoda is thinking, oh, he will go to the forest. So therefore, what she thought, I will tie this child up so that he will not be able to go to the forest. So Mother Yashoda, she started binding Krishna with ropes of love. That's what Chakravarti Thakur says. With the ropes of strong love, he is trying to bind Krishna. Whom she is trying to bind? That person who is binding everyone with the ropes of 3 modes of material nature. Mother Yashoda is trying to bind that personality. That personality who is the supreme, who has no beginning, no end, who has no front, no rear. He is unlimited. He is beyond time. He is free from any distinctions of cause and effect. That supreme personality Mother Yashoda is trying to bind. That is the strength of Yashoda's brain. She is not understanding, oh, this child is Supreme Lord. She is thinking, oh, he is my son. It is my duty to correct him. So therefore, she wants to bind Krishna now. So seeing this, thinking all these things, Mother Yashoda, she takes a rope and she tries to bind Krishna. But it fell short. She brought another rope. And as she is trying to bind Krishna, Krishna has decided, आज तो बंधूंगा ही नहीं. Today I will not get bound. अरे बहुत सारा काम करना है बाबा आज दिन भर. I have to go there, steal from that place, that house, and I have to go and play with my friends. Why should I get bound? When Krishna, he feels like this, he thinks like this, his energies become active. One energy is Vibhuta Shakti. Vibhuta Shakti means the Shakti of his opulence. And Vibhuta Shakti, that is inspired by Satya Sankalpa Shakti. Satya Sankalpa means whatever Krishna desires has to happen. So Krishna is thinking, today I will not get bound. There are so many things to do. So Vibhuta Shakti came into action, suddenly entered into the body of Krishna. And then Mother Yashoda, every time she was trying to bind Krishna, the rope was falling 2 fingers short. She got more ropes tied with the other rope. Still it was 2 fingers short. Krishna was thinking, unless I agree, how can she bind me? You cannot bind me unless I agree. Prabhupada writes, this is a transcendental, relationship between Krishna and Mother Yashoda. That Mother Yashoda, she's trying to bind Krishna. And Krishna is thinking, I will not get bound. And Yashoda, she was more determined than Krishna. She was thinking, she brought more ropes. And it was actually festival of ropes going on. All the different color ropes, all the Other ladies, elderly ladies, they were seeing, they were having fun time. They were also getting ropes. And actually this started in the afternoon. And till evening it was going on. Mother Yashoda was, tying ropes after ropes, but still it was not, Krishna was not getting bound. Mother Yashoda, she was struck with wonder. She was smiling also. Chakravarti Thakur writes that Mother Yashoda is thinking, the rope of 100 hastas length is not fitting the waist of my child, which is just one fist in length. Today I will find out how much rope is required. What is the length of my child's waist? That's what she is thinking. Then, as she is trying, Krishna is not ready to be bound. So, some of the friends, elderly ladies, they go and tell Mother Yashoda, "Oh, Mother Yashoda, I think, listen to us. Don't be insistent. I think today it is not in the, bhagya of Krishna to be bound. You cannot tie this waist with so many ropes. I think today is not his, fortune to be bound. And therefore, please leave this, attempt." Mother Yashoda says, "Even if evening comes, I will not leave." And Mother Yashoda, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Mother Yashoda, she is so very stubborn. She is not giving up her attempt to bind Krishna. And between the stubbornness of a devotee and stubbornness of the Lord, ultimately, you know what happens? Which prevails? Stubbornness of the devotee prevails. So what is happening here now? Mother Yashoda, she is full of sweat. She is trying so hard. Swamatu svinnagatraya visrishta kavarasraja drishtva parishramam krishnam kripaya swabandhane. So now, Mother Yashoda, it is like, Kartik time, very cold in Vrindavan during Kartik time. Mother Yashoda is trying so hard. She is sweating. Whole body is covered with sweat. Somatu Swinnagatraya. Krishna, she saw his mother is full covered with sweat. Her hairs, they are scattered. Flowers are falling. Drishtva parishramam Krishna. This is very important. Krishna, he saw the parishram of Mother Yashoda. Then he agreed to be bound. Kripaya asit. Being merciful, he agreed to be bound. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, seeing his mother being tired, Lord Krishna, he gave up his stubbornness and allowed himself to be bound. So when Mother Yashoda, she was struggling so very hard, the queen of all the Shaktis of Krishna, who is that? Kripa Shakti. Kripa Shakti is the queen of all the Shaktis. She came ahead and she allowed Mother Yashoda to bind Krishna. And this is how, the wonderful devotion of Mother Yashoda is described. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, what is this two-finger shot indicate? This two fingers was filled by the effort of Mother Yashoda and mercy of Krishna. So in any endeavor we do in our spiritual life, these two things are important. In anything we do in Krishna consciousness, our endeavor and Krishna's mercy. Unless we endeavor, Krishna will not give mercy. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that steady faith of devotee is very important, and at the same time, the steady quality of being merciful. The Lord is so very merciful. Devotee, he gives full effort, he has faith, and Krishna is merciful. If these two things are there, then the Lord is bound. If these two are not there, it is impossible to develop this love for Krishna. So therefore, by this pastime, Krishna is telling us as a sadhakas, we have to give our best. We will not be able to, get this love of God if we are not struggling hard. One devotee came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, please give your mercy so that I can follow your instructions. Prabhupada said, my mercies, I have given you instructions. Now it is your duty to follow those instructions. If somebody has fallen in the well and somebody throws a rope, he cannot demand, let my fingers curl around the rope. No, he has to do it himself. So the instructions are there, but we have to follow those instructions. Bhakti is not a sentimental affair. We have to struggle very, very hard. We have to do our best. It is not that we'll develop some esoteric feelings automatically. No, we have to struggle to the best of our capacity. We have to work hard to please Krishna, to please the devotees of the Lord, because Krishna is pleased by our endeavors. As in the case, if Mother Yashoda had to struggle so much, then how much hard we should try. And then this pastime, Shukadeva Goswami described that this pastime shows Krishna's bhakta vatsalyata. Evam sandarshita hi anga harina bhrityavashyata swavashena pi krishnena yasyedam saishwaram vashe. Evam sandarshita. Lord wanted to show to the whole world. What? Harina bhrityavashyata. I come under the control of my devotees. Swavashena pi krishnena. Krishna has under his control the controllers of this universe. Brahma, Shiva, everybody is under control of Krishna. He comes under the control of his devotees. Saratya parishada sevana sakhya dautya virasananugamana stavada pranaman snigdeshu pandushu jagat pranatim cha vishno bhaktim karoti nipatis charanara vinde. Pandavas, they were so very malleable to the will of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna was ready to do everything for Pandavas. He was ready to become their chariot driver, their messenger, their guard, everything. So Krishna can do anything for his devotees. He becomes conquered by the devotees. Harina Bhritya Vashyata. As Lord Vishnu told Durvasa, Nahi asvatantra. I am not independent. Aham bhakta paradhino nahi asvatantra iva dvija. I am not independent. I am under the control of my devotees. So therefore, Chakravarti Thakur writes in this purport, in the 19th verse purport, the 8 qualities which Lord gives up. He is Atmaram, he becomes Tanyakam. He is Purna Manorath, he becomes dissatisfied. He is Shuddha Sattva Vigraha, he becomes angry. He is master of Lakshmi and he is stealing. He's stealing butter. He instills fear in death personified. He becomes fearful. Yad bhiveti swayam bhayam. Yogis cannot catch him. Yashoda Mai caught him. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. He is crying out of fear. He is sorrowful. He is all pervading, but he is tied up here. These are the wonderful qualities which Krishna manifests, relinquishes in this pastime. And then Shukadeva Goswami describes the wonderful, supreme devotion of Mother Yashoda. So actually in the last chapter, Parikshit Maharaj, he asked, what did Nanda and Yashoda do? Nanda kimakarod brahman shreya eva mahodayam. Yashoda cha mahabhaga papoyasya stanam hare. What did they do to get such wonderful association of Krishna? Mother Yashoda was feeding her milk. So after describing Dhara and Drona, now by describing this Damodar Leela, Shukadeva Goswami illustrated the supreme position of Mother Yashoda. This is the true answer. The true answer is now presented in these two verses, 20 and 21st. Nemam virincho nabhavo na shrirapyanga samshraya prasade lebhire gopi yattat prapa vimuktidat. The position of Yashoda is so very exalted. Na virincha, not even Brahma, not even Bhava, not even Shiva, na Shri, not even Lakshmi. Brahma is the father of all universe. Lord Shiva is the actually supreme Lord. And Lakshmi, she resides on the chest of Lord Vishnu. They are also not anywhere in comparison to Mother Yashoda. Prasade le bhire gopi, the mercy which is received by Mother Yashoda, it is unparalleled. Yattat prapa vimuktidat. Vimuktidat. Vimukti, this word vimukti is described, explained by Chakravarti Thakur. Vimukti means special mukti. Special mukti means the mukti where devotee develops love for Krishna. So Mother Yashoda's position is much, much beyond the position of Brahma, Shiva, Lakshmi. Yattat prapa vimuktidat. And therefore, we know this Ras Leela is epitome of Madhurya Leela, Madhurya Prem. This Damodar Leela is the epitome of Vatsalya Prem. The Vatsalya of Yashodama is described such wonderfully by this Damodar Leela. And Yashodama is definitely superior. So therefore, Shukdev Goswami is actually by this pastime is telling to Parikshit Maharaj, it is wrong to think that Yashoda is a sadhana siddha bhakta. No, she is a nitya siddha bhakta. How can Brahma give boon to Mother Yashoda? Brahma himself is praying to Krishna to take birth as a grass in Vrindavan, because he wants the dust of Brajvasi, just like Uddhava prayed. In the 14th chapter, we'll see Brahmaji is praying to Krishna. Tad bhuri bhagyamiha janma kimapi atavyam yad gokulepi katamangri rajobhishekam yajjivitam tu nikhilam bhagavan mukundo twadyapi yat padaraja shruti mrigyameva. So he's telling, Brahmaji is praying to Krishna. These Brajavasis, they are so very fortunate. I want to take birth as grass in Vrindavan. Yad gokule pikatamangri rajobhishekam. Why do I want to take birth as grass? I want dust of the Brajvasis on my head. So Brahmaji is asking for such benediction. How can he give benediction to Drona and Dhara to become Yashoda? It is just an external thing. Actually, he says, Drona and Dhara, they are very, very small parts, expansions of Nanda and Yashoda. The position of Yashodama is, beyond all this. Nayam sukhapa bhagavan dehinam gopika sutah jnaninam chatma bhutanam yatha bhakti matamiha. So, Nayam sukhapo bhagavan, Supreme Lord, is not accessible to people who are mental speculators, people who are even, jnanis or yogis. They cannot understand Krishna. Krishna can be understood only by bhakti. Yatha bhakti matam iha. Only by devotion. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only by devotion one can understand Krishna. Not by all these mental gymnastics or bodily gymnastics. Nobody can understand Krishna by this. So then after describing all these things, Shukdev Goswami continues the story. He says, Krishna, he looked at, Yamal Arjun tree, because Yashodamai, she bound Krishna, and then she went to do her household work, and she appointed few of his friends to protect Krishna, to make sure he does not go away. And because she had no worry, she was thinking, "Arey, it's my child. How he will drag? He will not be able to go anywhere. He cannot drag a wooden mortar. He will not be able to do any mischief now. He does not have that much power." So she went inside to do her work. And then Shukdev Goswami says, these two sons, Nalakuvar, these two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvar and Manigriv, they were so very fortunate. They were so very prestigious. They were so very opulent. But because of the pride and because of the prestige, they did not care about anyone. And therefore, Narad Muni cursed them. He cursed them to become trees. And that is the end of the chapter. So the 10th chapter describes the deliverance of Yamala Arjun trees. So Parikshit Maharaj, he asks, he is always alert, anytime something is asked, something is told, oh, why this happened? So now Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Kathyatam bhagavannetat tayo shapasya karanam yattad vigarhitam karma yena va devarshetama. So he's asking, he's telling, oh, Shukdev Goswami, please describe to me, why did Narad Muni curse these sons of Kuvera, Nalkuvar and Manigri? What did they do? What abominable thing they did that Narad Muni became angry at them? Then Shukdev Goswami continues the story. He describes what happened. Rudrasyanucharo bhutva sudriptau dhanadatmajau kailasopavane ramye mandakinyau madotkatau. So these sons of Kuvera, Rudrasya Anuchar, they were the associates of Lord Shiva. Sudripta Dhanadatmaja, they were very proud of their position because they were sons of Kuvera. Kailashopavane Ramye, and therefore, because they were the associates of Lord Shiva, they were allowed to wander in the garden of Kailash hill. Mandakinyau Madotkato, and they were allowed to take bath in Ganga, Mandakini Ganga also. But what they were doing? Madotkato, they were terribly proud, they were terribly mad. Why? Varunim Madiram Pitva Madaghurnitalochano Strijanairanugayadbhir Cheratu Pushpitevane. They were completely drunk with Varuni, and their eyes were rolling in intoxication. Varunim Madiram Pitva. Strijaner, and therefore, when intoxication is there, they were surrounded with women. Cheratu Pushpitevane. They were wandering here and there in the garden of flowers. So the qualification was they were the associates of Shiva. They were so very powerful. They were allowed to wander in the garden, but they misused that qualification. And Prabhupada writes that, when it is mentioned that this verse mentions that some people, because they want some material benedictions, they go to Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva, he gives benedictions very quickly, Ashutosh. And then he questions, why are devotees of the demigods greater in number than the devotees of Vishnu? Because devotees of Vishnu, they don't want anything material. Therefore, they don't go to all these devatas, and because the people, they want sense gratification, they go to devatas first. So these sons of Kuvera, they were enjoying sinfully with all these women in the middle of Ganga. Anta pravishya Gangayam ambhoja vanarajini chikridutum yutibhir gajaviva karenubhi. Just like elephant enters into the river and plays with the she-elephants, these sons of Kuvera, they were playing with all these heavenly women. By the will of the providence, Narad Muni came to that place, and he saw these people, Nalakuvar, Manigriv, and all these ladies completely intoxicated. He could understand their position. And Prabhupada writes, This is the power of Vaishnava Sangha. Just by few moments of association of Narad Muni, their entire life got transformed to such an extent that they became pure devotees ultimately. Narad Muni, he cursed them because when Narad Muni came, the ladies, they started covering themselves. But these Nalkur Manigriv, they did not even care to cover themselves. They were standing naked. So therefore, Narad Muni, to show special mercy to them, he cursed them. Tau drishta madira mattau Srimadandhau Swaratmajau Tayor anugraharthaya Shapam dasyannidam jagau. Madira matta, they were completely intoxicated. Shri Madanda, this is very important. Shri Madanda, they were intoxicated by false prestige, by the opulence. There are various types of madness and blindness. Somebody may be Janmandh, somebody may be, Dhanandh, uh, blind because of the wealth, so much wealth. Somebody may be Madandh, somebody may be Kamandh, blinded by lust. These sons of Kuvar, they were blinded by wealth. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, just like the father, if he wants to give a bitter medicine to the child, he pinches him sometimes to wake him up if he's sleeping. So Narad Muni, to show favor to these two devatas, he cursed them. And then after cursing, he describes what is the danger of wealth. Nahi anyo jushato rajosyan, he says, among all the attractions of material enjoyment which bewilders people's intelligence, the intoxication of wealth is the prime thing. There are various things which bewilder the intelligence of people. Beautiful bodily features, birth in a high family, aristocratic family, and scholarly, learned, understanding, being so very learned. Among all these things, wealth bewilders the mind most. Wealthy people, they are much more prone to get bewildered and intoxicated. Because he says, along with wealth, all the other things come. Wine, women, and gambling. All these. Stri, Dyutam, and Asava. Stri means women, womanizing. Dyutam, gambling, and Asava means drinking. So wealth intoxicates a person the most. That's why Kunti Maharani also says, Janma Ishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edamanam Madappuman. These things, they bewilder the person the most. He says, Prabhupada writes that if one has pride in wealth, then other things follow. So therefore one becomes most bewildered. And ultimately he becomes angry, lusty. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, these are the causes of bewilderment. Anger and lust, they are the gateway to hell. Narad Muni continues, he says, people who are falsely proud of their riches, they think they'll live permanently and therefore they even kill animals. They do violence to animals just for their own enjoyment. Whoever you may be, a big man or a leader or a demigod also, or whoever you may be. But after death, what is going to happen? The body will either become ashes or worm or stool. If it is burned, it will become ash. If it is eaten by the jackals and dogs and vultures, it becomes stool. And if it is just thrown, worms come and worms eat and become more. So that is the destination of a body. Why to struggle so much? Why to become intoxicated by the wealth? Ultimately, this body belongs to whom? He says, does this body belong to mother and father who give birth? Does this body belong to the employer who give money? Does this person body belong to the person who takes it away by force? Whom does this body belong to? Does this belong to the master who purchases the body? Or does it belong to the son who burns the body in fire? Whom does this body belong to? He says, among so many people who may claim, who is the actual claimant? He says, actually, body is a property of everyone. Evam sadharanam deham sadharana deha. Common property of everyone. Because body is made up of the elements which is belonging to everyone. After all, it is produced, stays, and gets annihilated in due course of time. So therefore, an intelligent person should not put so much attention in taking care of this body. And he should not kill other animals to take care of the body. And then he says, a poverty-stricken person is much, much better. Actually, if somebody is proud of his wealth, what is the proper cure for that? Poverty is a best cure for a person who is blinded by wealth. Asata Srimadandhasya Daridyam Paramanjanam Atmaupamyena Bhutani Daridra Paramikshate. He says, Daridram, poverty is like a ointment for an eye which is covered with the ignorance of wealth. Daridryam Param Anjanam. Because a poverty-stricken man, he realizes that nothing is belonging to me. And Prabhupada writes that a man who is poverty-stricken, he is actually, and when he becomes wealthy, he engages his wealth in philanthropic activities because he understands, oh, I suffered so much, so I should do some charity now. Narad Muni gives an example. Just like a person who has experienced the prick of a thorn, he can understand the pain of other who is also suffering the same thing. Similarly, a person who is poverty stricken, he can understand the other person's pain. Prabhupada writes, Bandhya ki jane prasav vedana. A barren woman cannot understand the pain of labor. So therefore he says, poverty is a very wonderful thing to bring one close to the realization and liberation. Because a person who is poverty stricken, he develops so many realizations. First of all, he has nothing to eat, so therefore he has to undergo austerities. And because the senses has no energy, the senses become controlled. Then false ego is destroyed because nothing is there to be proud of. Therefore, he is satisfied with whatever comes. And all these austerities purify this person. So you have to understand, when Narad Muni is speaking these things, it does not mean that a rich person cannot practice bhakti. It ultimately depends on our disposition. How we are taking care of the things which we have. Are we having this possessive mentality? That's what Kunti Maharani says. Tvam akinchan gochara. Akinchan does not mean being poverty stricken. Akinchan means we should not have the mentality of possessiveness. As Vamana Dev is telling to Bali Maharaj, he says, Janma karma vayo rupa vidya aishwarya dhanadibhi yadi yasya na bhavet stambha tatra ayam mad anugrahat. He says, these things, these qualities of high birth, high qualities of action, janma karma, youthful body, beautiful body, being scholarly, these things will not bewilder and make a person proud if he is a devotee. Only my devotee can be free of all the bad effects of all these things. Otherwise, a person has to become proud. And then Narad Muni continues that the person who is poverty stricken, he becomes weaker and weaker, and therefore he automatically gains the results of the austerities of which great personalities, saintly personalities perform. And one more thing which happens, saintly persons, they frequently visit poor people. They do not get a chance to go to rich man's home so often. So therefore, poor people, they are in a very wonderful position by which they can attain liberation. And therefore, he says, one should seek saintly association. Sadhunam samachittanam mukunda charaneshinam upekshaya kim dhanastambhair asadbhair rasanashrayai. He says, saintly people, they think of Mukunda, the lotus feet of Mukunda always. So why you are neglecting the association of saintly people, and why do you want to associate with rich people? Therefore, a person who is poverty stricken, he is very wonderfully situated. So therefore he is telling that you are going to become poverty stricken. Then you will realize, then you will be free of this pride. And then he gives the cure in 4 verses. He says, since these two persons, they are so very proud, they are uncontrolled in their senses, they are blinded by pride, they are attached to women, I will relieve them of their distress of pride. Prabhupada writes, when a sadhu chastises, it is not to take revenge. It was not that, these Nalakuvar, Manigriv, they were not giving respect to Narad Muni, so Narad Muni is cursing them. No. When a sadhu, when a saintly person chastises somebody, it is for the benefit of the person. So therefore, Narad Muni delivers a very special curse. He says, because of the pride, because of the madness of prestige, of drinking liquor, although they are naked, they are not even realizing they are naked. Therefore, they are living like trees, because trees stand naked. So I curse them that they will get the body of trees. But nonetheless, by my mercy, they will remember whatever they have done. They will not forget their memory. They will remember everything. And by special favor of mine, for 100 celestial years, it is a very intense type of curse. To be in the body of tree, but to have a consciousness of human, of Devta. Such a painful situation. So he says, you will be in the body of this tree for 100 celestial years. Then, by my mercy, you will get darshan of the Supreme Lord, and you will be delivered. And then Devarshi Narad returned. Then after saying all this, he says what happened. So Krishna, he went there and he started thinking, oh, my devotee Krishna, Narad Muni, he has given curse to these two devatas, and that's why they are in the body of this tree. Risher Bhagavata Mukhyasya Satyam Kartum Vacho Harihi Jagam Shanakaistatra Yatra Astam Yamalarjuna. Slowly he dragged himself, to the place where these Yamala Arjun trees were standing. And therefore, after that, he says, Devarshi me priyatamo yadimo dhanadatmajo tayor tattatha sadishyami tadgitam tan mahatmana. My devotee Narad Muni is very dear to me, and he has given the words that I have to deliver them. So therefore, I have nothing to do with these two people. But because my devotee has said so, karna padega, abhi kya kare? Prabhupada writes, it was not that because Nalakuvar and Manigri were rich personalities, so they got chance to have darshan of the Lord. No. Being rich is not a qualification to see the Lord. Only if you are connected to the devotee of the Lord. Tomar Thakur Tomara Kukur Boliya Jana Komre. You have to become dogs of devotees. Krishna said, Tomara Krishna Dite Para Tomara Shakti Achi. You have Krishna, you can give me Krishna. Thinking like this, Krishna entered in between the two trees, and the grinding mortar stuck between the trees. Krishna pulled, and the two very tall Yamalarjun trees, they crashed down. They fell to the ground with great sound. And as soon as the trees broke, the two great, effulgent, powerful looking fire-like personalities, they appeared, and they started offering beautiful prayers to Krishna. Krishna, small child Krishna, they thought, oh, why are you are devatas, why are you offering prayers to me? The two Nalkuvar and Manigriv, they start glorifying, oh, you are great Supreme Lord, Krishna, Krishna, Mahayogi, you are Supreme Lord. They are telling Krishna twice. You are Mahayogi, you are Adi Purusha, you are the source of this entire manifestation, you are the controller, you are the time factor, you are the original cause, you are the supreme soul of all the beings. Only by your mercy you can be seen, because you are existing before the creation. So therefore only by your mercy you can be seen. You are not anything of this world. So therefore, although it is so very difficult to know you, but still we offer our obeisances unto you. Namas Tasmai Tubhyam Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vedase Atmadhyoti Gunaishchanna Mahimne Brahmane Namah. We offer our obeisances to the Supreme Lord Vasudev, who is a source of Sankarshan, who is a source of Chaturvyuha. Krishna may say, okay, I am the Supreme Lord, yes, but by what characteristics you are discerning this? How come you came to this conclusion? They say, you appear in various bodies like fish, tortoise, hog. These are all your avatar, and you, as Krishna, you are avatari. You are avatari, and from you, different avatars are coming. Therefore, you are supremely auspicious. And after praying the Lord, praising the Lord, they thought we cannot stay here. It is not so suitable. We are obstructing the pastimes of Krishna. So therefore, they are lamenting their position as devatas, and they speak that we are servants of your servant Narad Muni. They are connecting themselves to Narad. By his mercy, we have got your darshan. So now please give us permission so that we can go to our home. And then they say, but please grant us one benediction. Vani gunanukathane shravanau kathayam hastau cha karma sumanastava padayornaha smrityam shirastava nivas jagan praname drishti shatam darsane astu bhavattanunam. Very beautiful prayer. Actually, they became devotees. And now they are asking for pure devotional service. Let our words describe your pastimes. Let we only hear your pastimes. Let our hands and legs perform action which is pleasing to you. Let our mind always think of your lotus feet. Let our head offer obeisances unto you. Our eyes see your beautiful form and the form of your devotees. After hearing Krishna, all these prayers, Krishna is smiling. He is thinking, these people are praising me for freeing them, and just see Mother Yashoda, she is chastising me. She is scolding me. She bound me, she is binding me, and she is scolding me. And these people are praising me, but still, I love Mother Yashoda's chastisement more than the prayers of these devatas. Thinking like this, he was smiling. And he said, my devotee Narad Muni is very, very merciful. By his mercy, you all are delivered today. Sadhunam samachittanam sutaram matkritatmanam darshanano bhaved bandha pumsakshno savituryatha. He says, just like when one is face to face with the sun, there is no darkness. Similarly, when one comes in association of devotees, there can be no longer any material bondage. After saying, he says, Krishna said, therefore, O Nalakur Manigriv, now you may return home. All your desires will be fulfilled. You will never fall down from your position. In this way, the Devatas, they circumambulated him and they returned to their homes. So this is the end of the chapter. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.